Hey there, folks. Good to see you all tonight. I hope you've got a nice hot cup of tea or coffee nearby, maybe a soft blanket to keep you warm. I'm thrilled to have you here for another bedtime story, and let me warn you, this one's got a chill that'll creep right up your spine. So, get comfy, dim the lights if you dare, and let's dive into a tale that's as real as the shadows in your own home. Now, let me take you back a ways, to a small, sleepy town in the heart of Ohio, sometime in the late 80s. Picture a quiet neighborhood, the kind where everyone knows everyone, and the houses are old but sturdy, with creaky floors and stories of their own. This is where our story unfolds, centered on a young fella named Danny. He was about 15 years old, full of that teenage spunk, halfway between a kid and a man, thinking he could handle just about anything. Danny's folks were good people, salt of the earth, but they liked their little getaways now and then. One weekend, they planned to visit some old friends a couple of towns over. They figured Danny was old enough to stay behind, especially since he begged to have the house to himself. "I'll be fine," he told them, flashing that confident grin. "Me and Rusty will hold down the fort." Rusty, by the way, was their scruffy gray tabby cat, a lazy old thing with one notched ear from some long ago scrap. So, Friday afternoon rolled around, and Danny waved goodbye as his parents' car disappeared down the street. The house was his. No bedtime, no chores, just freedom. He started calling up his buddies, hoping to throw a little party, maybe sneak a few sodas from the fridge and blast some music. But wouldn't you know it, nobody could make it. One friend was grounded, another was out of town, and the rest just didn't answer. Danny shrugged it off. "More snacks for me," he muttered, plopping down on the couch with Rusty curled up nearby. The day passed easy enough. He watched some reruns on TV, messed around with his beat-up acoustic guitar, and even tried to get Rusty to chase a piece of string. The cat just gave him a look like, "Boy, you're wasting my time." As evening settled in, the house got quieter. The kind of quiet that feels heavy, you know? Like the walls are holding their breath. Danny decided to shake off the boredom with some tunes. He grabbed his Walkman, slipped on the headphones, and cranked up a cassette of his favorite rock band. He was lost in the music, head bobbing, when all of a sudden, he felt a cold little shiver, like someone was watching him. He yanked off the headphones and glanced around. The living room was empty. Just the flickering light of the TV and Rusty, who'd wandered off somewhere. "Get a grip, Danny," he told himself, chuckling nervously. But just as he reached for the headphones again, there was a sound, a sharp, clear twang, like someone had plucked a string on his guitar. The thing was, that guitar was sitting on its stand across the room, untouched. Danny's stomach did a little flip. He stared at the guitar, waiting for it to happen again, half hoping it wouldn't. The house was dead silent, except for the faint hum of the fridge in the kitchen. He got up, walked over, and checked the strings. Nothing seemed out of place. "Must have been my imagination," he mumbled, but his voice sounded small in the empty room. He decided he needed some company, even if it was just Rusty. He found the cat hiding under the dining room table, fur all puffed up, eyes wide as saucers. Danny scooped him up, trying to ignore the way his own hands were shaking just a bit. "Come on, buddy, let's hang out," he said, carrying Rusty back to the living room. But the cat wasn't having it. He kept staring at the corner of the room, right where the guitar sat, like he could see something Danny couldn't. Then, it happened again, another twang, louder this time, like someone was testing the strings one by one. Danny's heart started thumping hard. He tried to laugh it off. "All right, Rusty, you pulling some kind of prank?" But the cat just hissed, low and guttural, a sound Danny had never heard from him before. That was enough for Danny. He decided to get out of the room for a bit. "How about a bath, huh? Wash this weirdness away," he said to himself. He headed to the bathroom, Rusty trailing behind like he didn't want to be left alone either. Danny turned on the hot water, letting the steam fill the small space, and Rusty hopped up on the edge of the sink, watching the door like a guard dog. Danny stripped down and sank into the tub, trying to relax. The warm water felt good, and for a moment, he almost forgot about the guitar and the creepy feeling. He closed his eyes, letting the tension slip away. Then click. The bathroom light went out. His eyes snapped open. The room was pitch black, save for the faint glow of streetlights sneaking through the tiny window. He sat up, water sloshing, and listened. There it was again, a soft, deliberate click, like someone had flipped the switch just outside the door. "Very funny," Danny called out, though his voice cracked a little. He climbed out, dripping wet, and fumbled for a towel. He cracked the door open, half expecting to see one of his buddies messing with him. But the hallway was empty. He reached for the switch and flicked it. The light came back on, harsh and bright. He let out a shaky breath and got back in the tub. But the second he settled in, the light clicked off again. This time, he heard something else, a faint shuffle, like bare feet on the linoleum, just outside the door. Danny froze. Rusty let out a low growl, his fur standing on end. The boy's heart was pounding so hard he thought it might burst. He climbed out again, towel wrapped tight, and opened the door wider. "Who's there?" he called, trying to sound tough. No answer. Just the dark hallway stretching out before him. He flipped on every light in the house after that: living room, kitchen, even the porch light. He checked every room, every closet, every corner. Nothing. Not a soul. Rusty stayed close, though, tail twitching like he knew something Danny didn't. Back in the living room, Danny tried to calm down. He turned on the TV, some late-night talk show, and sat on the couch with Rusty in his lap. The cat seemed to relax a bit, curling up and closing his eyes. Danny started to think maybe it was all in his head. Old houses make noises, right? Lights flicker. It's nothing. But then Rusty's head snapped up. His ears swiveled toward the hallway, and his body went stiff. Danny followed his gaze, and that's when he saw it, a shadow on the floor, long and thin, stretching from the hallway into the living room. It wasn't cast by anything he could see. No lamp, no furniture. Just a shadow, moving slowly, inch by inch, like it was creeping toward him. Danny couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. The shadow grew darker, thicker, like it was gaining weight the closer it got. He wanted to scream, to run, but his body wouldn't listen. The room seemed to shrink, the air growing cold and heavy. The shadow reached the edge of the couch, and for a split second, Danny swore he saw it shift, like it had a shape, like it was turning to look at him. Then, everything went black. When he came to, he was still on the couch. The TV was on, some infomercial about kitchen gadgets droning in the background. Rusty was asleep again, purring like nothing had happened. The hallway was empty, the lights still on. Danny sat there, trembling, trying to piece together what he'd just seen, or if he'd seen anything at all. He didn't sleep that night. He kept the TV on, kept every light blazing, and waited for the sun to come up. When his parents got home the next day, he didn't say a word about it. How could he? They'd think he was crazy. But from then on, Danny made sure he was never alone in that house again. And sometimes, late at night, he'd catch Rusty staring down that hallway, like the cat could still see something waiting there in the dark. Well, folks, what do you make of that? Was it just a scared kid's mind playing tricks, or was there something in that house with Danny and Rusty that night? I'll let you decide. Thanks for sticking with me through this creepy little tale. If it gave you a shiver or two, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who loves a good scare. Until next time, sleep tight and maybe keep a light on, just in case. Good night.